Welcome, everybody, to the Cast from the Coast. My name is Adam Miles, and I'm joined, as always, by Josh Lambert and Tim Johnson. Once again, Aaron Peerless could not make it to this episode, but he will be back very, very soon. Lots of love to you,
I really
Aaron.
wish that he was on this episode just to give his insight to what we're about to talk about.
We might have to, poke and prod at him, next time that he's on the episode. Did you watch those movies, and what the fuck did you think of them? Just give me the 5-second tour of what you thought. So.
I hope he never has to watch this. I don't want him to do that.
It's not that bad. But talking about what's not bad or not, Tim, what are we talking about tonight?
We are going to talk about a movie from 1973, known by two names. One, what was the first one?
Death Wheelers.
The Death Wheelers, yes. Or, as I watched it, Psychomania.
Yeah, the reason why it has two names is because it skipped town and changed its name.
Yeah, do you think they tried to
Never
dupe
a good
people?
thought. Yeah.
We went to go see Death Wheelers, man. It wasn't that good, and it's like, oh, did you see that new movie? Fucking Psychomania.
No, man, I'm excited to see it.
Yeah, they sit down. It's the same movie.
Stay tuned, everybody. All right, Tim, just give us the synopsis on this movie.
I will certainly try.
Godspeed, good sir.
A psychopathic leader of a violent teen motorcycle gang has spurred by his mother, a Satan-worshipping spiritual medium, into committing suicide and returning to life as an undead.
As an undead. Okay.
Undead.
Okay.
Like, he's not a zombie.
Well, he's supposed to be.
There is quotation marks. Undead.
Yeah.
All right, I'm just going to put it out there.
He's,
This movie has a cult following. Okay?
Why?
I just let me get through this, Josh. Just let me
Okay,
get through
first, before, I just want to put this out there. Adam made us watch this.
this. Yes!
This is Adam's fault.
Yes! For a reason. Follow the logic here for a minute. This movie has a cult following. It gets highly recommended by many people that I talk to, and all of a sudden it appeared on Shudder.
I want names.
It was recommended by Chris Alexander. Recommended it. Okay.
Who's that?
Movie director, ex-editor-in-chief of Fangoria magazine, Rue Morgue magazine, all this shit, right? So he recommended it. He's talked about it.
Look into his credentials.
So, and then it appears on Shudder. And I'm like, I've never seen this. Okay, and then, I'm just going to say it, the fucking tagline sells me on it. The greatest British biker zombie film ever made. Okay, first off, British horror, bikers, zombies, the greatest?
Yep.
Come on.
What do you get? Where are you getting that tagline? Because the one that I'm looking at right now on the poster is "The dead still ride, the living howl in terror."
It was on Shudder. It actually said that. It was like
Was it?
It was like the tagline on Shudder.
Well, you know what, Tim? You're the greatest Tim Johnson that runs a podcast with a bunch of hairy white dudes. You're the greatest Tim Johnson in that category.
Thanks.
Anytime.
Am I the greatest Adam Miles that runs a podcast with some hairy white dudes?
You are the greatest Adam Miles of this podcast.
Oh, okay, thank you. I thank you for that one. Okay. So
What would have been funny was if he started saying something like, you're my favorite bearded redhead.
Well, that's
But we're all.
we're all bearded redheads. So what are you gonna do, right?
I know, but that was
And
going
I've got the
against
beard
joke.
coming back, so it's okay to say that now. So, okay, where shall we start here? Let's talk about the story just a little bit, or a little bit of the
Do we
lack
have to?
thereof, to be honest. Yeah, but sometimes
Oh, there's lots of story.
Yeah, but is it really coherent and cohesive? Oh,
No,
that's
that's the
the problem. So here we have
It's like,
this biker gang, the Living Dead, as they're called conveniently, and run by, what's the main guy's name? Tom? Tony?
Yeah.
Tony?
It's Tom.
Okay. So he's running the gang. He's got his best girlfriend at his best girl at his side. He's got his friends that are all really interestingly named, like Hatchet and Pigfucker and whatever else. I can't remember all their names, but they're there and they've got names. And his mother's a Satanistic worshipping frog woman that we find out at the end is a frog woman, by the way. Spoiler alert, everybody. And there's an interesting story about the fact that his father attempted to traverse to the other side but didn't make it because he wasn't a true believer. And he attempts to follow in the fate of his father, but he is a true believer. And there's some weird mysticism. Oh, gesundheit.
Sorry. Go
and
ahead.
there's some weird mysticism around the fact that frogs somehow are mystical fucking creatures. And they help with this scenario.
They are. Have you ever licked one? I'm just kidding.
Oh, fuck me.
frogs are witches that broke their pact with the Frog Lord.
Oh.
That is the lore established in this film, from what I can tell.
Yeah. I wasn't going to say that exactly, but sure. Okay. So he basically figures that he can willingly, if he wishes to die, after traversing through this, how do you even put it? It's almost like a test. It's like in Dune when they put the hand in the box and it tells if they can withstand certain things and if they're like the truly chosen one. He goes into this fucking room, he goes crazy for a little bit, and he comes out, he survives it, and he's ready to die. And,
See, you would think that's the case, but the other girl dies and comes back, so the room is actually just completely useless.
That's part of the plot holes that I was going to bring up, yes. But it's almost like the room tells him that he's capable of doing this or some shit. It's weird. They don't even really try to explain it any further. Are you okay, Tim?
I'm
He's just allergic to really bad movies.
Yeah.
Achoo!
Bullshit!
Rated S! So he willingly kills himself and he wants to die, so he comes back in one of the most awkward fucking funerals I've ever seen. Like, when they've got him being buried, his head's like well above the actual fucking burial line and shit. It's sitting on his motorbike and shit. I fucking laughed. I really did fucking laugh.
I was so confused.
That's when you
I
laugh?
thought that was someone else in his grave. I was like, well, they're not going to bury him on his bike standing up. Like, that doesn't make sense.
And then you realize his head's like above ground. It's
Yeah, I was like, wait, what?
And it's like mounded very perfectly. And I'm like, yeah, but that ground's going to settle. And all of a sudden there's going to be a fucking skull sticking out of the ground after a couple of years. Like, this is stupid, people. But he wasn't going to be gone for long anyway, because, vroom vroom, and out he goes, and he's alive, or undead. And then he basically brings it upon himself to tell his mates that they can do the same thing, and come back from the dead, and they can be an unstoppable force together, to which they basically just harass people. That's what they wish to do with life. They wish to harass people.
Yeah, that's fair.
Okay, sure. We can harass people
what
and
I would
not
do.
die from it. Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fuck this movie.
This movie, I'm just gonna say, man, this fucking movie is weird. It had some pretty interesting things to it. Like, I like the biker gang. I like the fact that they were the living dead. The helmets themselves, I thought, were kind of pretty cool looking for the day. You know what I mean? Like, because that was the style of helmet anyway, and the whole skull and crossbones thing was kind of cool. I like motorbikes, and I like a good motorbike film. Wasn't much of that going on though in terms of like actually like, focusing on the zombie aspect of this. It was just kind of like there. This movie, you could have literally removed the whole zombie aspect of this movie and it was just about a biker gang of people that fucking harass people and
Right from the start, I thought this was going to be like Clockwork Orange.
Yeah,
Just like a gang of
yeah,
people that
yeah,
like
yeah,
go
yeah,
and
yeah.
fuck shit
a
up.
bunch of old
Yep.
droogs.
Yeah.
Yep.
And they even kind of sound like them.
You mean British?
Yeah. They sounded like them.
They sounded like them. Okay.
But that's not at all what happened. Instead, I got a film about frogs
Film.
and magical stones and pendants that do nothing and magical doorways that lead to plot holes.
Magical doorways that lead to plot holes. Oh man. Yeah.
So Josh, do you think this is the worst thing we've ever watched on this show, being recommended by Adam?
Listen, the only reason this film is better than any of the Phantasm films is that after 1 hour and a half,
It was
I can
done.
never have to worry about it again. There's no sequels. There's no addendum. There's no
Sure there's no sequels?
massive. Oh, fuck off, Adam. If there's additional content to this film, I don't know what I'm going to do with myself.
Oh, you're gonna hate me on that one. But continue.
Oh, no.
And you'll
What
have no.
additional content?
There's no sequel to this. It is bullshit on its own. It is what it is.
I don't know. You and your weird friends that say this is a cult classic. Someone somewhere has probably got fucking screenplays
It's
written.
got like a 4.5 out of 5 rating on Shudder too. Like, who the fuck are these people rating this movie? It's weird. All right,
4.5.
Josh, I just want to hear you.
Out of 100?
4.5 out of 5. Josh, I want to hear your notes.
Boy, howdy.
Howdy doody, bitches.
My first and hopefully last viewing of Psychomania Motorcycles from Mars Zombie Witch Lady took place April 4th, 2021 at 6:45 p.m. One of the best things about this film is the opening where it says, "For best viewing, adjust your VCR." That was
Why?
my favorite.
Why though? What would that have done?
That's the problem. If we would have watched
Remove
this
half the
on our
picture.
VCRs and adjusted the settings, it would have all made sense.
Well, that's the problem, Josh. We didn't watch this
It
on
is.
VHS. We couldn't adjust the
We're in
settings.
an era where we can no longer adjust our settings for best viewing.
Therefore, the
pleasure,
movie makes no
and we're
fucking
stuck
sense anymore.
watching this. Yeah, it's unfortunate that as we advance in technology, we end up here. This is some sort of dirt bike Stonehenge. Okay. Did they lift the soundtrack straight out of an 80s porno movie? Because
Yeah,
there's
I thought
a whole
that.
lot of lines.
Like 70s porno, but go ahead.
Okay. Getting very Clockwork Orange vibes from these bikers. Quote, "Tom, you're not human." That's a really weird insult. The skull patch is horrible. No rival gangs are going to take them seriously with that shitty patch. Usually only found in graveyards. What a very strange animal fact this butler has.
It's so excitable about it too, by the way.
Yeah. What the fuck even is this film? They're all speaking like they're on a soap opera. It's not a scam? Question mark. Whenever I see the voice from beyond bullshit, I immediately think scam. But this lady apparently is not setting up for a scam. Definitely some paranormal shit going on in this movie. I thought it was just going to be like a biker slasher movie like Clockwork Orange on bikes. The door has been locked exactly the same length of time since his father died. Seems pretty sus. What the fuck? A toad charm will protect him. So the butler dude gives him a toad charm and says this will protect you. And he goes into the door that's been locked since his father died. And then he gets chickened out after looking into a mirror.
Yeah.
I literally have no idea what's going on. He puts on his They Live specs, and now he can travel through the mirror. I'm starting to get PPTSD, post-phantasm traumatic stress disorder. Whenever I watch one of these shitty movies that makes no sense, I just hear a little whisper in the back of my head of the tall man. Is he sacrificing this baby to the Toad Lord or something? And then I wrote, oh my fucking god, he has a frog ring on. He really is a Toad Lord. I was just joking because this movie was so stupid. I bet it's the butler. Looks like those leather pants were so tight, it finally cut off his circulation and he passed out. He tricked her to get the secret. Okay. Wasn't really passed out. These bikers are a straight up menace. Pushing the guy off the ladder is just mean. And what was the guy up on the ladder doing anyways? There's just a ladder stuck up in the middle of town and Buddy's up there working on the ladder. The witches cheated the Lord of Frogs and got wrecked and turned to stone. What the fuck's up with the random folk ballad music song in the middle of the movie after his graveyard? Like, there's like a full-on ballad just being sung about these guys.
Absolutely.
Is that the bike starting from under the grave? Yup. Not only has he risen from the grave, he's now super strong. That will be 16. When he's at the bar, and the guy's like, "That will be 16," and the undead guy looks at him and goes, "It's on the house." There's some cojones on him. The run to the grave was so out of place. It was like straight up Scooby-Doo gang. They're all sitting there talking, and then they're like, oh, "The grave!" And then they all kind of look over and run over. It was so cheese.
Oh my gosh.
You can only die once. That's a very interesting rule they establish. Shit, son. He went right through that truck. When the bikers are and they're trying to get their unholy status, he goes right through that delivery
She goes
trailer.
around the front, he goes right through.
Yeah. I think it's the first time in a horror movie where I see the neener done. With the old neener, 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 neener. I don't think I've ever seen that in a horror movie before.
Didn't Ash do it in Evil Dead 2?
Or might have been
I
Army of
suppose he
Darkness,
did.
wasn't it?
In
Or
Army of
Dark-
Dark. Yeah, you're right.
Sorry, I didn't mean to.
Of course, some of my best friends are dead. Quote. So the frog talisman got thrown into the grave with the butler. The butler threw the frog talisman into Tom's grave. Why? Because it's kind of led up to think that like the talisman has something to do with his resurrection. But then all the other characters that get resurrected didn't have frog talismans thrown to them.
Nope.
I again say, what the fuck? Weird suicidal montage, followed by even weirder out-of-body experience.
What was your favorite one that, like, when they were killing themselves? Mine was the guy with the chains.
Oh, threw
in the
himself
water.
over.
These big fake-looking chains, and he dives in, his underwear on.
My favorite was the guy at the high rise. He illegally parks his bike, and he's like, "It's mine, officer. I'll be right down," and like fucking throws himself out of the window, and everybody's like screaming because he did it in public.
Yeah.
That was my favorite.
There's a part in the film where they used like the dun dun sound effect 7 times in a row. 7 times.
Josh counted.
You can't be driving bikes through a supermarket. She ran over the baby.
Yeah.
Okay. The film's got 8 minutes left to explain the butler, the witches, the frogs, and the stones. So the butler is the Toad Lord. Figured as much.
Mm-hmm.
What exactly is the deal she's reacted to, and why? What is exactly is the deal that the mother redacted from the Frog Lord, I guess. She turned herself into a frog. What the fuck? Is this some sort of Animorphs film? Oh, he's turning to stone. And for the first time, Tom's girlfriend screams. Not when he's immortal and they're all killing themselves. When he starts to turn to rock. She's the most terrified anyone has been in the entire film. They literally just had a gun pointed to her and were ready to execute her. And she was cool as a cucumber. But when they start to turn to rock, that's when they get terrified.
Of course.
Those are my notes. I don't explain what happened. I don't understand any of this film. I don't know what the Frog Lord had to do with anything. I don't know why the witch redacted her deal. I don't know why she turned on her son and turned them and all of her buddies to stone. I don't know why the buddies were affected by the redaction of the curse, because only the son was given up as an offer, not all of his pals. I don't know what the frog talisman does. I don't know anything about this movie. It feels so disjointed.
Josh, this is the greatest British biker zombie movie ever made.
I'm not even sure if that's accurate at this point.
All right, good notes, good notes. I don't even want to talk about special effects because this has literally one of the
Really? I want to go in depth.
in depth.
Fucking stone turning scene.
Yeah, I was about to say, because the only thing worth talking about is the fucking end scene where they turn to stone. And it's one of the corniest looking fucking things I've almost ever seen put to footage.
You want to know what did I notice, though? The special effects might not have been good, but the stunts were actually kind of good. Like, the one where Hatchet is up on the overpass and he fucking just falls. Yeah. Like, obviously, that was someone up there and there was the fucking whatever. But, like, the way it cut and all that, I was just like, oh, right? Like, there was a couple moments like that where the stunt work was actually really good.
Okay, give some credit where some credit's due. Build the movie up just a little bit, I guess.
And that stone scene, man, that stone scene. And she's screaming.
And
Did
they're
you play A Link to the Past?
Whereas, like, his hands are out, and it's quite obviously a picture, but, like, they fucking got him breathing underneath, and it's like...
Yeah. And like you
guys
see
ever played the Super Nintendo game A Link to the Past?
Of course.
Yeah.
Do you remember the spot where you bring the ocarina to the little dude and he turns to, I guess, a tree?
Yeah.
Yes.
Reminded me of that. You go on hand off the little shovel and he...
Only worse.
Great emotional and he turns to stone.
Only not emotional. There's nothing emotional about this scene.
The best acting in the film was the two stones.
After they turned to stones, they were... Okay, yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
The Rock provided better emotional acting than the humans, that's what I'm saying.
Yes. Okay, it was fucking terrible. The only other real... I mean, yeah, the stunt work in this movie and the bike driving was actually really well done. But, like, that's not the merit of this movie. It's supposed to be a biker zombie horror film, but there's nothing fucking zombie.
You didn't get any of that from that?
Not at all.
Well, there was bikers.
Yeah, exactly.
Robert Englund here, a.k.a. Freddy Krueger. I'm watching and listening. They cast from the coast. You better or else.
Tim?
Yes, sir.
Do we have any little nuggets of information about this movie?
We do have some nuggets of information.
So that means it is time for Trivia Time with Tim.
Thank you.
Dum dum.
Okay, so this film was almost universally blasted by critics upon its release. One reviewer for the London Times wrote that the film was only fit to be shown at an SS reunion party.
What? What? That's
Yep.
fucking great.
Yeah.
Aussie.
For the shot where Tom rides through the brick wall on his motorcycle, a wall was built mostly of styrofoam and painted to look like brick. When the stunt was first performed with the fake wall, the motorcycle shot through the structure. But because the setup was ruined for the test shot, they actually used some real bricks. And it fucked the fucking guy up.
Ow.
Yeah. During the final feature film of George Sanders. So George Sanders, this is his last hurrah. I know, right? This is not the first Don Sharp film to feature frogs in cemeteries, pacts with the devils, mysterious suicides, and the living dead.
What?
These are also motifs from his earlier film called Witchcraft. The scene where the first motorcyclist is seen crashing off the bridge was shot on the M3 motorway under construction. The bridge and some of the roadway leading up to it, there was only bits completed in 1972, and the motorway itself wasn't finished until 1974. Future long-serving East Enders cast members June Brown can be seen in a non-speaking role of grieving Mrs. Pettibone as her daughter's funeral service. This movie, believe it or not, was shot in 6 weeks.
I don't know if I can believe that one.
Not only was this the final film of George Sanders, but the subject of suicide features prominently throughout the plot. Sanders died by committing suicide.
That was the butler, if I remember correctly.
And because that's it for trivia time, I'm gonna spatter some other stuff in there. One of the chase scenes where the bikers are followed around the road, pre-1959 road markings are seen. While it's possible that older style UK road markings were still in existence in 1972, they would have not been on main roads. This probably confirms that this road was a test track for motor vehicles rather than one of the national highways. The amount of times the same vehicles are used, even after being involved in accidents. Example: when the bikers are trying to kill themselves, one rides through the side of a furniture van. Later on, the riders go past and drive past that same furniture van. When Tom drives his bike through the wall breaks. However, in the next shot, you can see the wall behind him completely unbroken. And this is a plot hole. Even if Tom was indestructible after coming back from the dead, that wouldn't make his motorcycle indestructible or weaken the wall so he could crash through it.
Maybe it does. The motorcycles turned to stone at the end of the film. They didn't break a pact.
We don't know what that
with the devil.
fucking frog pendant did.
Maybe.
The frog pendant gives them
Frog
breakthrough
powers.
wall abilities.
Fucking frog powers.
The Frog Brothers.
Oh.
They did fight the undead.
All right, that's it. That's all I got for you for this
Okay,
one.
so was one of those
So
not...
one of those fake?
Yeah, one of them was.
Okay, I don't think they use real bricks. They can't be that stupid.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with that one.
Did you just watch that fucking movie?
That's my vote. What else could it have been? The review from Tell Him to Go, only an SS meeting would watch it? That seems a little harsh.
I'm gonna have to agree with Josh.
So what one did you guys... The
Real
bricks? Yeah, that is.
Woo!
So for the shot where Tom rides through the brick wall in his motorcycle, the wall was built using styrofoam and painted to look like brick. When the stunt was first performed, it was a fake wall. The motorcycle shot through the structure, but the rider was knocked off the cycle. So that's the actual piece of trivia. So I just elaborated.
And made up the bricks thing. That's cool, though. Excellent, Josh. We finally got one. Woo!
you talk about? Josh got a couple. Josh has been on to me
Right from the beginning.
right from the beginning because he always even
and it's
the
always
last.
narrowed down. The
Yeah.
one I didn't get, I still had it narrowed down. I knew.
Yeah, it was on your list.
Yeah.
All right.
I see right through his bullshit.
All right.
Adam's fucking blinded.
I'm fucking
by it.
blinded by Tim. Tim, I
But
love
not
you
at this
so
time.
much, Tim. I can't imagine you'd lie to me. I don't want to believe it. Okay. All right, guys, we're going to have to give our final review. And I know this is going to be a bit of a short episode, but there's not really a lot more to talk about this movie. So I'm going to go first in tonight's episode, and hear me out. I was enthralled by the catchphrase, the idea, British horror. You know, it kind of, the thought and the idea harkened to, like Hammer horror and awesome. Yeah, fucking full mass thinking about this. I was like, this is going to be great. Bikers, zombies, death. Yeah. What did I get? None of that shit. I got frogs, fucking weird suicide attempts, barely zombies if you can consider them zombies, and some sort of a fucking witch frog woman. I can honestly say the only thing that I like is the idea of this movie. The thought behind the fact that there is a British biker zombie film. The idea that this movie exists is better than the actual fucking movie by any means to me. I really do kind of like the visuals in a lot of cases when it comes to like the biker gang. Like I love the old fucking scrawled leather jackets with the living dead on them and the shitty looking crossbow. Like that's the kind of shit that like an old motorcycle gang would have done. I love it.
No, it's not.
If
any motorcycles had that patch, they'd get the shit kicked out of them.
Maybe in America, but not in Britain. They were badass, apparently. This coming from the country that unleashed the Beatles on the world, right? It's a different mindset on things. I can honestly say, if I was riding a motorbike right now, I'd probably have something similar, like just for shits and giggles, because it's fucking funny. I'd pull up to Tim's place with a fucking Psychomania
Sure,
helmet.
you wearing one of the fucking helmets?
That'd be great.
Yeah,
Like the main helmet?
Yeah, that'd be great. So like I said, I like the thought of this movie and the idea of this movie, but the execution, what the fuck did I just watch? I got pretty fucking bored at certain points, but that was when I wasn't laughing my head off at some of the absolute bullshit that I saw. Like I said, the burial scene, the whole frog shit, the woman turning into the frog and recanting on their fucking deal, the stone turning at the end. This movie does not have a lot of actual good. I'm just going to say good to it. So, for all intents and purposes, I will have to rate this movie in a way that I hate to do it, but this movie is absolutely rated S for shit! And that's where I leave it. Josh!
Yeah. This movie, like other films I've watched, make no fucking sense. I'm too stupid to watch movies like this because all I try to do is make sense of it. And I can't just sit back and enjoy the frog film. I have to try and analyze it and figure out what the fuck they're trying to do. Where's this going? What's this story arc? Oh, it just dies off. There's nothing here. It's just an abandoned part of the script. I fucking hate movies like this.
So, rated R.
There's no redeeming qualities of this garbage film. I rate this film S for shit.
Ooh. Okay. Tim, you got a tough act to follow. We got 2 rated S for shits. What has Tim got to say?
I'm going to rate it an X. No, I'm kidding. This movie had a fucking weak script. The acting was fucking horrible. The special effects were lame. But I'm not going to lie. There was a lot of parts where I was entertained. As stupid as this movie was, it's not the worst thing I've ever watched.
No, hard.
Right?
I've seen way worse.
I thought I thought it was refreshing how many redheads were in this movie.
This is some weird
um,
positivity you're pulling out here, Tim. There's a lot
I
of
know.
fucking redheads in this movie.
There's a lot of redheads in this movie. I like that. They're
They're the only ones they could afford to hire.
Oh, bastard.
biker horror zombie movies are kind of an odd movie.
It's an awful big niche.
Yeah, it's pretty specific. The high pitched keyboards and the wah wah guitar, like it's like 1973 porn music that felt like just made what I was seeing that much more like better, but it wasn't. The one positive thing that I will say, and I said this earlier, was the stunt work. There was some stunt work that I actually thought was kind of top notch. It didn't look like, like I said, when Ratchet was doing the whole suicide thing and he jumped off, like it seemed like it was pretty good. And I don't know if that's just, with the stunt and the edit. But I don't know. There were certain parts of this movie where I was like, it's not that bad, but then they go and fuck it up again. Like, like they go and fuck it up again. I want to rate it. I honestly want to rate it a G. I do. Because I just want to say that it's not the worst movie I've ever seen. I've seen movies. I didn't look at my phone as much. Like Josh said, some of the pacing stuff was all over the place, and some of the stuff was like, you could have just cut that out of the movie, or you wouldn't even have noticed. And I didn't, because I was on my phone engaged looking at Instagram or on Facebook, and I look back up and I still kind of know what's going on because I don't know what's going on. Does that make any sense?
Nobody knows what's going on,
Yeah.
so you know further out of the loop.
So I want to rate it a G, but I can't. I'm also going to rate it an S for shit, because this was a really like it's really cool that like they let you make this movie, bud. But I can't believe they let you make this movie, bud.
And I can't believe he made movies after this.
And before.
Like, people didn't see this coming?
But to be fair, I absolutely can understand why this is a cult following. Absolutely. It's got all the fucking like hallmarks of, a niche little group of people, which is by the very definition a cult following. I can see why they would like it, but this movie's not for me. I think it's unwatchable, and I feel stupider watching it.
Yeah,
I can't get that time back, and I think I said that in a message to our group.
Yeah,
that I'm not getting that time back.
An hour and a half of quality family time I could have been spending with my child and wife.
Was that
My
before?
wonderful girlfriend.
Was that before or after it was declared that I was never allowed to pick a fucking movie again?
It was after, because I believe the first thing that I said was Adam is not allowed to pick any more movies. And then there was a bunch of laughs, and Adam tried to defend himself, and then I said it again. Let me reiterate. Adam is not allowed to pick movies again. I can't get that time back. That wonderful family time, spending it with my son and my wonderful girlfriend, that's gone. That hour and a half is gone from my life.
They didn't watch it with you?
No, they didn't. And can you blame them?
They were too busy watching YouTube clips of Gary Busey.
Fuck off.
Well, I don't know. It's Gary Busey, but...
How you doing today, Gary Busey? Yeah. Okay, so 3...
Josh, you were looking at your phone? Was it like clips of Mac and me?
Just still images. I love looking at it.
He changes them out all the time.
I'm surprised you haven't like gone as far as to like, try to commission a life-size Mac.
Oh, you think I haven't?
Josh is going to be one of these guys. Like in 10 years' time, Josh is going to have funded a fucking documentary on the making of this incredible movie that is very underappreciated, and it's going to be like Mac and Me, the documentary of Mac and
If
Me.
I lived in California or LA or whatever and had just access to go be guerrilla filmmaker, I would definitely track down the people that worked on that production. 100%.
Poor fucking soul.
And just like approach them in the fucking supermarket parking lot with a
Be like,
camera.
hey, you know that movie
Ask them
Mac and Me
questions.
you work on? They'll be like, fuck you! Who put you up to this?
They'd be like, man, I'm just trying to pick out my broccoli. That was like 40 years ago. Leave me alone.
Did Jimmy put you up to this shit? I told him! Get away from me. All right, gentlemen. This has been an interesting conversation. Not as long of an episode as normally, but 3 S's. Yeah. The only way this movie would be rated X is if it was rated X for excess shit. But,
I just realized that reviewer said the only people that would watch this would be an SS meeting. And we just gave it 3. That's funny.
Bad. That's bad. Well, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for listening to us rant and rave about a steamy pile of shit movie that we were all enthralled by, and the idea of. Enthralled by the idea of, by the way. So, thank you very much for tuning in. Check us out on Facebook, Misunderstood Our Company. Like, share, and subscribe. Check us out on YouTube, where we post all of these videos and content. Like, share, and subscribe. Misunderstood Our Company. We produce audio copies of this on all the major podcasting platforms, including but not limited to iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, and Amazon Music. We're also on Patreon. Open up your hearts and your wallets. Tim needs his caffeine. And until next time, Josh.
If we could refrain from toad-based films in the future, that would be greatly appreciated.
I think that's all on Adam.
Oh. I can't wait until one of you fuckers chooses a movie that I can shit on. Tim!
Stay safe and stay spooky.
Until next time, keep it creepy, people!
Good night.